I never thought I'd be the one to cut ties with my family. I always imagined I'd be the dutiful son, the one who'd stick around, help out when needed, and be there for my parents no matter what. But life has a funny way of showing you people's true colors when money is involved. My name is Daniel, and I have a twin brother, Jason. Growing up, we were always treated a little differently. Jason was the golden child, athletic, popular, the one who could do no wrong in my parents' eyes. I, on the other hand, was the quieter one. I preferred books over sports, computers over parties. It wasn't that I resented Jason, I didn't. But I always knew that, between the two of us, he was the favorite. Still, I never thought it would come to this. We both graduated from college at the same time, on the same day. It was supposed to be a proud moment for our family. Jason had gone the traditional route, studying business, while I had taken a different approach. I had started working online when I was 16, freelancing, saving every penny I could. By the time we graduated, I had a decent amount of money saved up, not enough to be rich, but enough to be comfortable. The day after graduation, my parents surprised Jason with a brand new luxury car, a sleek, black BMW. He was ecstatic, jumping up and down, hugging our parents like they just handed him the keys to a mansion. I was happy for him, truly, but I couldn't help but feel a little curious. What about me? I didn't expect a car. That wasn't my style. Maybe a watch? A heartfelt letter? Even just a "we're proud of you" would have been nice. But when my dad handed me an envelope, I felt a weird pit in my stomach. Inside was a bill, a long list of numbers, amounts, and final totals that I stared at it, confused. What is this? My mom smiled, as if she'd just given me the best gift in the world. It's only fair, Daniel. You've been working for years. You've saved up so much. It's time for you to help out the family. My dad nodded. Jason doesn't have anything saved up yet. He'll need help getting started in life. But you? You're responsible. You've got money. This is just a small way for you to contribute. I felt my blood run cold. They weren't giving me a gift. They were handing me their debt. They expected me to pay for them while they rewarded Jason with a luxury car. And they actually thought this was fair. I looked at Jason, expecting, I don't know, maybe a little guilt? Maybe a "hey, this isn't right"? But he just shrugged and said, "Come on, man. You always say you don't care about money." That was when I made my decision. I took a deep breath, folded the paper neatly, and slid it back into the envelope. "Thank you for this," I said, my voice even. "It's a real eye-opener." My mom beamed. "I knew you'd understand." I smiled back. Then I packed my bags and left. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just walked out. They didn't try to stop me. I don't think they fully realized what I was doing. Not yet, anyway. But that would change soon enough. Because 2 weeks later, I got the first desperate call. I ignored the first call. Then the second. By the third call, my voicemail was full of messages from my parents, my brother, even my aunt. At first, they were casual. "Hey, Daniel, we just wanted to check in. Call us back." Then, a little more insistent. "Daniel, why aren't you answering? We need to talk." Then, desperation. "Please, Daniel, we didn't mean it like that. Just call us back." But I didn't. I wasn't going to give them the satisfaction of acting like nothing had happened. For the first time in my life, I was putting myself first. The first week after I left, I stayed at a cheap Airbnb in another city. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do yet, but I knew I wasn't going back. I had enough savings to figure things out. But my parents? They weren't as lucky. The second week, my brother started calling. At first, it was all bravado. "Dude, stop being dramatic. Just come back already." I blocked his number. Then my mom switched tactics. "Daniel, sweetheart, we're struggling. You know we've always supported you. Can't you just help us out a little?" That was rich, coming from the woman who had smiled as she handed me a bill instead of a congratulations. Then, the real panic set in. One evening, I was checking my email when I saw a message from my dad. Subject: "Please read this." Sony hesitated, but curiosity got the best of me. "Daniel, we're in trouble. We took out some loans we can't pay back, and we thought we could handle it, but things are getting worse. Jason doesn't have the means to help us, and we thought you wouldn't mind. You've always been so independent, so responsible. We misjudged the situation, and for that, I'm sorry. But we need you. Please, at least call us back. I stared at the email for a long time. It was the first time they had even come close to admitting they were wrong. But it still wasn't an apology. Not really. They weren't sorry for how they had treated me. They were sorry that I had left, and now, their perfect golden child wasn't enough to fix their problems. For years, I had watched them favor Jason, give him everything, make excuses for him while expecting me to be the responsible one. And now, when their choices had finally caught up to them, who did they turn to? Me. Because Jason, the son they had spent years prioritizing, wasn't capable of helping them. I closed the email without responding. Then, a few days later, I got the call that changed everything. It was my aunt. And for the first time, I hesitated before ignoring it. I stared at my phone for a moment before deciding to pick up. I didn't know what to expect from my aunt. She wasn't as involved in the drama, but she'd always been somewhat of a peacemaker between me and my parents. Daniel? Her voice was soft, almost pleading. Can we talk for a minute? I sighed. About what? About your parents. They're worried about you. Yeah, I know, I said, keeping my tone level. But I think they're a little more worried about themselves right now. There was a long pause. Then she said, please, don't be like this. They made a mistake. They thought you would understand. They didn't mean for things to go this way. I could hear the desperation in her voice, but I wasn't backing down. Not now. Not after everything that had happened. I took a deep breath and asked the question that had been swirling in my mind for days. Why, Aunt Karen? Why did they buy Jason a car if they're struggling? If they're in debt, how is that even possible? How could they think that's okay? There was another long pause. Then, finally, she spoke, but her voice was shaky. I don't know, Daniel. They thought they could handle it. They always wanted to give Jason the best, and they figured it would be a good way to celebrate his graduation. They never imagined you'd leave over it. I felt the weight of her words, but it didn't change anything. My parents had always put Jason first, given him whatever he wanted. And now, they had crossed a line that I couldn't ignore. And what about me? What did I get for graduating? Huh? A bill? A bill for their debt? I couldn't keep the bitterness out of my voice. She was quiet for a moment. They didn't know how to show you they were proud of you, Daniel. They thought you'd understand because you've always been the responsible one. But they were wrong. And they regret it. They really do. I shook my head, even though she couldn't see me. It's not about that. It's about respect. It's about how they've treated me all these years. How they've always put Jason on a pedestal and expected me to take care of everything else. I could feel the anger rising, but I kept my voice steady. They didn't give me a car, an opportunity, or even a proper thank you for all the work I've done. Instead, they gave me their problems. And now they want me to fix them. Aunt Karen was silent for a long time. Daniel, I think they're finally realizing they've messed up. They just don't know how to fix it. Please, come home. Let them make it up to you. I wasn't sure if I could. The emotional toll was too heavy. But something inside me softened. Just a little. Maybe, I said. But they have to show me they're serious. This can't just be another excuse. If they really want to fix things, they need to prove it. Aunt Karen sighed in relief. Thank you, Daniel. I know this isn't easy. Before I could respond, she added, but there's something you should know. Jason called me too, and he's been asking if you'll come back. He's not as indifferent as you think. I frowned. Really? He's actually concerned? Yes, she said quietly, but it's more than that. He's starting to see the bigger picture. He's starting to realize just how much you've done for the family and how much he's taken for granted. I didn't know what to think of that. Jason, the golden boy, realizing his actions? It sounded too good to be true. But maybe, just maybe, things could change. I still didn't know if I was ready to go back, but I had a feeling this story wasn't over yet. And in the next conversation, I would hear something that would push me to finally make a choice. The days passed, and I stayed in my little Airbnb, sorting through my thoughts, still refusing to call back. But then, something unexpected happened. It was a Thursday evening when my phone buzzed. I didn't recognize the number, but I answered anyway. Daniel? It was Jason. Yeah. I replied, my voice cool. Jason's voice was shaky, and there was a long pause before he spoke again. Daniel, I'm sorry, but things got worse. Mom and Dad, they didn't listen. I tried to talk to them, but they're stubborn. They kept insisting they'd manage, but now they've had to sell the car. My heart sank, but a part of me couldn't help but feel vindicated. They sold the car? I repeated, my voice cold. Yeah, Jason's voice cracked. They had no choice. The bills piled up, and we couldn't keep up with the payments anymore. They sold it to cover some of the debt. It's gone, Daniel. I don't know what to say, man. I leaned back in my chair, staring out the window. A rush of satisfaction washed over me, mixed with something darker. They had chosen Jason. They had handed him a car and thrown my efforts in my face. And now, with all their mistakes catching up to them, they were losing it all. I wanted to gloat, to rub it in their faces, but I didn't say a word for a long time. Jason kept talking, his voice breaking, but I couldn't bring myself to feel sympathy. Finally, I spoke, my voice firm. Jason, you didn't have to lose the car. You should have known this would happen, that they wouldn't have the means to keep up. They always expect me to clean up their mess, but this time, I wasn't there to pick up the pieces. Jason was silent. I warned them too, I continued, my words sharper now. When they handed me that bill instead of a gift, I told them it would come back to bite them. And now it has. Jason's voice grew desperate. Daniel, please. I know this is messed up, but they didn't mean for this to happen. We never wanted it to turn out like this. I paused, savoring the feeling of power in this moment. I had finally broken free from their grip, from the years of being second place. You know what, Jason? I said coldly. Maybe it's a lesson they needed to learn the hard way. If they'd been a little more thoughtful, they wouldn't be in this situation now. I hope it stings. Jason started crying, and for a second, I almost felt guilty. But then the image of my parents' smug smiles when they handed me that bill flashed in my mind. I didn't feel guilty. Jason's sobs echoed through the phone, but I didn't offer comfort. Instead, I hung up, and for the first time, I felt a sense of justice. The scales were balanced, and my family was finally learning the consequences of their actions. The next few days were quiet. I kept to myself, staying in the Airbnb, not responding to any messages or calls. I wasn't even checking my phone much, except to catch up on work. It felt freeing, honestly. I didn't have to deal with anyone's drama anymore. Then, on Sunday afternoon, I got a call from an unknown number. I was about to ignore it, but something inside me told me it was time to face it head-on. I picked up. Daniel? My mom's voice came through, shaky and desperate. Please, can you just hear us out? I didn't answer immediately. Instead, I leaned back in my chair, slowly exhaling. It had taken them this long to come to me, and it felt good to know they were finally on the other end of the phone. Daniel, we know we messed up, she continued. We never should have put all that pressure on you. We should have been better. We're so sorry. Please, come back. We'll fix everything. Just come home. I could hear the pleading in her voice, but it didn't move me. This was the same woman who had always told me to be responsible while giving Jason whatever he wanted. The same woman who, instead of appreciating my hard work, had handed me a bill for their failures. Mom, you're sorry, I said slowly, letting the sarcasm drip into my words. You're sorry for what exactly? Buying Jason a car while I was left to handle your mess? Is that what you're sorry for? Or are you sorry because you had to sell it? There was silence on the other end. I could almost hear her brain trying to process that, the reality of what she had done sinking in. Daniel, we never meant for things to get this bad. My mom said, her voice breaking now. Please, just come back. We'll do whatever it takes to make it right. You're still our son, and we love you. I rolled my eyes, even though she couldn't see me. It felt almost pathetic, hearing her beg after everything they had put me through. I'm sure you love me, I said, my tone flat. But love doesn't fix years of favoritism and neglect. You didn't think about me once when you made those decisions. Not once. I paused, letting that sink in. Then I added, and frankly, I don't need your apology. It's too late for that. You should have thought about this before. The line went quiet again, and I could feel my anger building. But I kept it cool, just like I had learned to over the years. I'm not coming home, Mom. You made your choices, and now you're living with the consequences. I'm not here to clean up your mess anymore. There was a long, drawn-out pause, and then my dad's voice came on the line, sounding strained, desperate. Daniel, please. We were wrong. We see that now. We didn't mean for it to come to this. We never meant to push you away. I let out a low laugh, and my voice dripped with contempt. You didn't mean to push me away? Well, you sure have a funny way of showing it. You bought a car for Jason, handed me a bill, and expected me to just keep taking it. You didn't push me away. You kicked me to the curb. Please, son, my dad's voice cracked. We were just trying to give Jason something. We wanted him to feel proud of his graduation, and we thought that would make it right. But we've realized it wasn't worth it. Not if it meant losing you. It almost felt like they were groveling now, and the power was entirely in my hands. You're right about one thing, Dad, I said, my voice sharp. You lost me, and you're not getting me back just because you've suddenly realized your mistakes. I paused, letting the silence stretch out between us. I'm done here, I added coldly. So, keep your apologies. Keep your guilt. And next time you want to celebrate someone, maybe think about who you're leaving in the dust. Without waiting for a response, I ended the call. I stared at my phone for a long time, the satisfaction of finally putting my foot down sinking in. They had taken me for granted for far too long. But now they knew what it felt like to lose me. I could hear their apologies echoing in my mind, but it didn't matter. They had had their chance, and now they would have to live with the consequences. Weeks passed after that phone call, and I didn't hear from them again. The silence was almost louder than the chaos that had led up to that moment. I kept going about my life, working, enjoying the peace and freedom I'd fought so hard to create. Then, one afternoon, a package arrived. It was from my parents. I stared at it for a while, unsure of what it could be. The thought of them trying to contact me again made me hesitant, but curiosity won over. I opened the package. Inside was a simple letter, handwritten, the paper creased from being folded too many times. Daniel, we don't expect you to forgive us. We know we hurt you, and we've realized we've lost something far more important than a car or a gift we could never afford to give you. But we want you to know we're sorry, and we'll always love you, even if you never come back. Please don't forget that. I read the letter twice, my eyes scanning over the words, feeling nothing. It wasn't enough. It wasn't even close. I threw the letter into the trash without a second thought, the satisfaction of not being swayed by their last-ditch effort settling in. I wasn't angry anymore, just indifferent. As for Jason, I'd received a few more texts from him, apologizing for being caught in the middle. I ignored them too. He had chosen his side. He would have to live with the consequences of that choice. Life went on. I kept growing my business, kept moving forward with my plans. It was all on my terms now, and I wasn't about to let anyone, least of all my family, take that from me. And as for them, well, they would always have their regrets. But at least I didn't have to carry the weight of theirs anymore. The end had come, but it wasn't a tragic one. It was a reminder that sometimes you have to step away from the people who never gave you a chance to be seen, so that you can finally see yourself clearly. And for me, this was the beginning of a new chapter.
At the end of the day, Daniel made a bold choice. He stopped letting his family's actions dictate his worth. It wasn't easy, but by walking away, he finally took control of his own future. It's a hard truth, but sometimes the most important relationship you can nurture is the one with yourself. What do you think? Was Daniel right to leave, or should he have given his family another chance? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you want more stories like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out.